years 2011 through 2015 as shown on Exhibit A. Staff also recommends further reduction to those commercial property owners that have constructed private on-site storm, water quality, and quantity mitigation facilities which aid the city in controlling the overall effects of the stormwater pollution. To expand on that briefly, MPDS permit holders, industrial permit holders, or equivalent industries would be given that additional discount. There's specific criteria for them to meet to be able to get that further discount. The recommended action this evening read the ordinance by title only, pass, post, and publish in the usual manner.
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that we read the ordinance by title only.
See no objection, so ordered.
An ordinance amending Washougal Municipal Code 14.32.030 and 14.32.040, increasing stormwater rates charged by the city for the years 2011 through 2015 inclusive.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass, post, and publish the ordinance in the usual manner.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any council comments or questions?
Just real quick, what is the additional discount, the percentage?
25% additional, 75% in total.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Michael?
would it make sense to change the title of the ordinance? I'm going to have to read through this really quickly because I just realized that if we're changing the stormwater rates for the NPDES permit holders, then it's not just increasing, it's just changing the stormwater rates. Would it be, does the mayor believe it would be acceptable to substitute or make a motion to substitute the words changing from increasing?
How about amending?
I mean, yeah, sir, yeah, that's what I mean.
I have no problem with that. That seems reasonable.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move that under Section 1, we substitute the word change.
Amend.
Well, it's substituting the word amend, I'm sorry, change for the word increase, so that it would read that Washougal Municipal Code, I won't cite the references, are hereby amended to change the stormwater rates as charged by the city.
Second.
Jennifer, do you have those? Between yourself and Don? Okay.
All right.
Question?
Could you share your logic behind this change?
Yes, technically speaking, we are not actually increasing that rate.
Only increasing.
I'm sorry? Yeah, we're
We're
not
not
just
only
increasing. We're changing the rates. We're increasing some and potentially lowering others depending on whether they have an NPDES permit, which we've discussed in previous councils. And just for the sake of discussion, if I understand correctly about how stormwater works, the permit holders, NPDES permit holders, are basically in compliance with stormwater regulations on their own right and do not impact the city. If they're a full, I can't remember the phase, but if they're a full NPDES permit holder, they basically don't impact our stormwater facilities. And therefore, our discount is recognizing the fact that we're taxing them for something that we're not providing them a service for, except to the rest of the city. Is that a fair assessment? Something like that? Okay. So anyway, it's changing the rates.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on the amendment? Okay, I've got a motion and a second to amend Section 1 of the ordinance. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We still have a live motion and a second on pass, posting, and publishing the ordinance. Any other council comments or questions? Okay, I've got a motion and a second to pass, post, and publish the ordinance in the usual manner. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda Bill 16810, an increase in the utility occupational tax, Washougal Municipal Code 5.08.080. Trevor, you going to take this one?
Yeah.
Fire away.
Thank you, Mayor Guard. In October 2008, Washington State Supreme Court ruled in Lane v. City of Seattle that providing public fire protection through fire hydrants is a governmental function that must be paid for out of the general fund revenue and not through the water use rates and charges. This includes the entire infrastructure required to deliver water to the hydrants, as well as the hydrants themselves. To address this issue, American Water Works Association, AWWA, and our consultant, FCS Group, recommend that the cost of providing public fire protection in the water system be identified and that the water utility tax be adjusted to cover this cost. To be compliant with this decision, court decision, the legal requirement is that the cost of providing fire protection be excluded from the water rates. The combination of excluding this cost from the rates and increasing the utility tax proportionality is cost neutral to the customer. The latest utility rate study performed by FCS identified the cost associated with the providing fire protection at $256,000. This amount was excluded from the water rates. To generate the necessary funds for providing fire protection costs, it is recommended to adjust the water utility tax rate from 10% to 20.4%. Recommended action this evening, read the ordinance by title only, pass, post, and publish in the usual manner.
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that we read the ordinance by title only.
See no objection, so ordered.
An ordinance amending Washougal Municipal Code 5.08.080, parentheses 3, increasing the utility tax charged by the city of Washougal related to the furnishing of water by the city's water utility.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass, post, and publish the ordinance in the usual manner.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pass, post, and publish the ordinance. Yes.
Sorry, my apologies. Mr. Mayor, if I understand correctly, the FCS Group study recommended that in order to be in compliance with the Lane versus Seattle decision, that it was necessary to basically just do an accounting trick on this one. And if I understand correctly, that's what this is supposed to be. But I want to make sure that I know exactly where the accounting trick is. Because the way it was explained to us was that we were decreasing, on some, believe this or not, it was decreasing the water rates and increasing the tax so that the total bill doesn't change, assuming rates don't change at all. And with that assumption, well, of course, we just raised the water and utility rates as it is. So I just want to clarify that the rates that we just raised included a decrease to account for this increased tax. Is that correct?
That's correct. And to further clarify, it's not to keep us in compliance. To keep us in compliance, we just can't charge that fire protection amount back to the water rates themselves. To stay in compliance, all we've got to do is separate that out. What they're attempting to do is, through this legal use of smoke and mirrors, is basically to absorb that $256,000 without having to hit the general fund for it. It actually still hits the general fund, but that's where the taxes go back to as well. So it plays with one, puts more over to the other side, everything stays whole, and there's no additional amount that is due to the customers themselves.
Mr. Mayor, I actually will be voting against this agenda bill, not because of the accounting trick, but because of a promise that I made prior to running for this office, that I wouldn't raise taxes. And I know this is just a technicality, that the total amount of money that we're spending on the water utilities doesn't change with this tax increase. The total amount of money that we're receiving from the customers doesn't effectively change, given the other restrictions that we had tonight. But it's simply in just recognizing that promise that I had previously. I yield the floor.